server with a friend of mine who's also a constitutional supremacy clause person, and I went in as like a Hunter Thompson-esque journalist with my combative attitude added on top, and I got in a little bit of trouble at first, and then I kind of evened shit out. And I got caught up in a meth lab raid. I had no meth on me. I had no constituent chemicals on me. I was in there spray painting graffiti inside Project Mayhem. And the cops came in and killed everybody except for me. So the first cop that he runs up and he tries to put handcuffs on me. I decked him, knocked him the fuck out, punched him twice, and knocked his block off. Ended up getting thrown in jail for conspiracy just because I was in the place. And the whole time they're arresting me, I'm yelling and screaming about, you're violating my Fourth Amendment, you fucking pigs. And Sixth Amendment, you can't be the complainant. It's just giving them hell, man.
And that was Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, it's Grand Theft Auto. It's a role play mod. Basically, it's cops and gangs and civilians.
Where do you play that on? PlayStation?
No, on the computer. It's Valley RP is the name of it. Name of the place. So come to find out, there are no lawyers and judges. Everything is up to the cops, right? Like they get you in the jail cell and they read you the charges. And they say, if you plead guilty, I'll knock this felony and that felony and this misdemeanor off and give you 30% off the fines and shit. It's like haggling for a bag of wheat or something. Huh. So it became my mission. Going in, it was a social experiment anyway, but it just sort of evolved into this organic movement on the server because everybody was pissed about the cops having all the power and there's no lawyers and no judges and they're just right. Yeah, right. There's no due process at all. So I figured out that you buy spray paint cans from the hardware store. So I probably spent $120,000 the first day just on spray paint cans, and I'm spray painting everything. I went into the lobby of the fucking police stations and spray painted Project Mayhem and all cops are back, ACAB and all that. And it, like within 2 or 3 days, I was starting to notice that other people were picking up on that theme because it was showing up in places that I hadn't been. Right. So it sort of grew organically. And, as I started making more connections in the community and networking with people in there, I find out that, 30% of the population, they understand about the Constitution. Right. But they're spending all their time in this game. They're like not even living in the real world. They're doing this. So, a lot of potential people that could turn into teachers and spread this word are lost to these MMOs, basically, because it's easier to deal with that than it is to deal with the real world. I found it interesting that, that was sort of the case. It was also interesting that movement sort of grew organically because that's a commitment. It's $1,000 a can for spray paint in that city.
And what does it take to get $1,000?
Well, there are different activities that you can do that are not illegal. There's fishing, construction, delivery, sanitation, right? Like you can be a garbage man, and then an electrician. There are those jobs, but they take like an hour, and they only pay you $5,000. Wow. When being a criminal can be more profitable than that. Like in an hour selling bags of meth on the street, you could make $30,000. Right. You're selling it to the bots that walk around, the NPCs. I call them gray shirts because they're not players.
Yeah.
I just, and the level of cooperation between criminal elements and citizen elements, people that are not gangs, between citizens and gangs it's amazing because they'll plan stuff together. Like citizens will do a bank heist, the gangs will come and harass the police during the negotiations and shit, and then maybe somebody slips out with all the goodies, right? And that all the cops got is suspects, and they got no proof except that you were in the bank. Because the people who slip out take all the robbery gear with them, the thermite and the drills and the, so
who are the cops?
Huh?
Are the cops people or NPCs?
Yeah, the cops are actual players too. Yeah. So it's all role play. If you take hostages to do a bank heist, you do a negotiation. Give your demands to the pigs. And man, last night I was running a jam car for the place. I work at a place in game. It's a go-go bar. And I'm like number 2 security there in the last 2 weeks. I got promoted and shit. But the woman that owns the place, she's a master of planning these heists, the jewelry store and the bank robbery and shit like that. And she's got friends on the police force. So if they know that she's in there, they won't kill anybody. Right? Like there's no getting shot inside the bank. They'll let us run. But last night we were doing one, and I was the jam car. I have this car that's it's a fucking battering ram. And I was uphill slope. Have you ever played Grand Theft Auto?
5, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, there's the Del Piero Pier, and then there's the Maze Bank headquarters right at the end of the pier across the street. I was north of there on a little bit of a downhill. And the whole time, the pigs are they're all standing behind their cars bullshitting, and the Devil's Rejects motorcycle club gang guys that we're friends with came up, and they were harassing the cops. One of the guys had his phone open in game so I could hear what he was saying to the cops. It was funny as shit. But, bro, when the bikers left, finally they were like, you guys got to fucking leave or you're going to get arrested. I heard them say that over the phone. Man, the temptation was so fucking heavy for me to just gun it and mow all those cops down with that car, just flatten them. But I can't do that because it would be a violation of the role play rules. Yeah, it's kind of.
What are the role play rules?
Well, the role play rules are before you can take any physical action, like beating somebody up or shooting them or hitting them with a ball bat or running them over with the car, you have to have 2 minutes of dialogue. There has to be an interaction, at least 2 minutes. So, in that amount of time, as the character that I play, if somebody comes up and they're getting red with me and shit, I flash them my business card and they're like, "You're Doc? Man, we've heard about you, man. You doing good shit." And I'm like, well, you know what? If you think I'm doing good shit, then how about if you join in? Giving these cops hell. And I even wrote up, let me see if I can share this with you in the chat. I wrote up a Bill of Rights for in-game based on, that made sense based on the interactions that we have. Obviously, in reality, the Bill of Rights and the Supremacy Clause applies differently because we're actually really here, I think. I mean, we think, right? We're pretty sure that that's the case. We have some evidence that existence is real, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's all up for debate, isn't it? Huh?
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, it's all up for debate, I think. Man, let me find this. So anyway, my biggest issue with the
oops.
But from their point of view, that takes away content for them. So it's kind of it's different in there. Let me see if I can. I know I wrote this thing up. I can't find the folder that it was in. It's in my YouTube folder, but I haven't used it in so long I can't remember where the fuck it's at. So what happened when you went to court? You just got a continuance? Is that what was up with that?
Yeah, I'm backstage though.
Still there, bro?
I'm backstage.
Oh. What happens?
I clicked on sign in, and it took me out, and then I had to. So yeah, I missed some of what you were saying, but at court, basically, the judge asked me if I had a chance to talk with the prosecutor, and I was like, did I have a chance? Like, could I have called him this whole time? I could have.
Right, but would he answer the phone? Does he actually do his fucking job?
Do you even want to negotiate with terrorists? Is a better question.
Right, exactly.
I don't really, but
yeah, there's no negotiation between masters and servants, and that's what these people don't fucking understand. They just don't get it.
It really doesn't make any sense. Convictions almost mean that you didn't do that crime because of all these plea deals.
Yeah, right.
It basically means that crime, you didn't do that one. Like, whatever you did, it wasn't that. Because they'll be like, we'll drop it to a this or that, right? Well, how does that make sense? You want me to plead guilty to something I definitely didn't do?
Right. It seems like that's part of their fucking con game they're running on us, is this plea deal shit.
Oh, for sure.
And because people think, well, I'd rather go, 5 years probation than go to jail for 2 years or whatever.
Guilty people.
Yeah, it's all just a big fucking con. It's all a big con game, man.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just a huge con.
Tons of people are guilty. It's a weird thing. There's some people that are always charged with nonsense, like DMA and so on and so forth, right? And then there's other people that are always committing crimes.
And they get away with it.
Well, I don't know if they do or not. They tend to give those people they're basically like, oh, this guy's retarded. Don't even fucking do anything. Just, probation, right?
Right. Then he goes back into public and he kills somebody.
Right. Oh, I know, man. Their failures are everywhere. And yet, everyone believes in them. This last commenter said something like, I can read it, I guess. This last commenter, he's such a genius. He says, this is a perfect example. This is the judge arrest. Judge Hung, yeah. This is a perfect example of just because someone says it, it has to be true. And of course, it's the farthest thing from reality. The judge should have immediately found him in contempt, given him 30 days and let him serve it all with no gain time. What an idiot. Do you know what gain time is? I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. What did he say again? Gang time.
Gain. Like audio gain.
Hey, he thinks he's being clever.
Well, what he thinks is that judges determine when I go to jail. So he thinks that this judge can go ahead and be the complainant against me and then go ahead and issue the warrant for me and then go ahead and make the arrest for contempt of court. And then he thinks he can sentence me that I'm already guilty, right? And that I'm guilty for whatever days he wants. This guy says 30. What's the difference, though? Why not 6 months? Why not 50 years?
Why not just take you out back and shoot you?
Why not take you out back and shoot you? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
So everything that he's saying, and he's saying what I am saying is the farthest thing from reality. Bro, I arrested the judge for treason. He's
right.
He's at war with the American people. Yeah, it's a citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
I read the citizen's arrest law. The judge should have immediately found him in contempt. Listen to this. Where the fuck does this guy come from? Not United States. What is this exactly? Where he just thinks some fucking servant Bro, he thinks he's the king.
Yeah, or something.
And
Right.
I told him as much, and I think, I don't know, I think maybe he's given up or some shit. Oh, he went crazy with 3 comments right in a row. Okay, so I just said to him, now we've got someone over here thinking they know more than the judge, too. Now, I think I know more than the judge, but it's based on these laws that I just cited, right? But as far as this guy goes, he's just like, bro, he wants it both ways. He wants to say the justice system is so legitimate, but he also wants to say that the judge is an idiot for not finding me in contempt.
Right, so you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, he wants to say it's both ways, that justice system is perfect and the judge is an idiot. And it doesn't work. I'm telling him that's not how contempt works, and the idea that it does work like that is completely anti-American. I just listed off a bunch of laws that, due process, 14th Amendment, right? That you have an accuser, and then there's checks and balances, so it's not one servant that just decides to ruin your life, and then you're already sentenced to serve a term without a jury, without a finding of guilty. I mean, come on, man. So I'm telling him, this guy's not a king; he's a servant.
That's right. He's a servant, and we are the masters. The kings are individual people who are responsible enough to run their own lives. That's what we decided kings were, right?
Yeah, there's no kings, and we're all kings, because there's no one higher than the citizen. There's 2 classes in America, and then if you're a prisoner convicted of a crime, you could be a slave, a 3rd class. So this guy is not a king; he's a servant. So now I'm asking, what evidence do you have that this man's not guilty of treason? It's a matter of public record that he's participated in treason. And he's doing it right in front of you. So congratulations. There has never been a single argument on this channel against anything I do or teach. So you must be so confused that you're convinced I'm wrong, even though you can't prove it, like a typical American. No wonder your country's falling apart. No wonder we're on the verge of World War III. No wonder, man. No one can even think at all. I did go ahead and press criminal contempt charges on this judge, too, both Judge Hung and Judge Landis, for disrupting my right to film. That's disrupting my business. It's a public trial and all that. The law of the land is freedom of press, so anybody that says otherwise, that shit's all null and void. Doesn't matter if a state law says, or a judicial order, or a case precedent, or any of that crap. None of that shit matters. The law is freedom of press. Under the Supremacy Clause, under the 10th Amendment restriction on state laws, and on the 14th Amendment, Congress shall make no law abridging federally protected rights. So I'm telling him I pressed criminal contempt of court charges on this judge too, because he's doing nothing but making a mockery out of the legal system, and he is. Bro, no victim, no fucking body of the crime, no
complaint, no witness, no victim, right? No complainant.
Victim. It's
no evidence.
No evidence. Everything searched or seized for was done without a warrant. No matter what it is, it's like, dude, what? Your only mandate in the Constitution is that you're bound to the laws of the United States, Article 6, Supremacy Clause, and yet you're going to do the exact opposite. Anytime the prosecutor was like, oh, well, somebody farted somewhere and it sounded like we can do that, then the judge was like, okay, I'm on your side. Sounds good. So, bro, it was honestly like the judge worked for the prosecutor. And we know he's not a good judge because he's committed crimes against me personally, such as disrupting my business in a public trial, trying to violate my First Amendment right to freedom of press, trying to violate my Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my property, refusing to listen to any motions concerning the lack of warrants, the lack of complainant, the lack of victim, the lack of evidence, And
that's a 14th Amendment violation.
Well,
because all objections have to at least be read.
Oh, yeah, that's a due process violation. And I said it was a due process violation. He's like, oh, we're reading it. That means we're doing due process. No. Reading it and violating my rights is not due process, buddy.
Right. Due process is he reads it and he thinks about it instead of going with whatever his emotions or love for
And
the
then,
cops.
yeah, he rules
is.
based on the law of the country, which is the things listed under Article 6 Supremacy Clause. So that's going to be your federal laws. That's going to not be your state laws unless they're in line with everything in the Constitution. If they're not in line, it's null and void. So I tell him the truth is you, like most Americans, are an anti-American. And all you will ever do is stand against the American under any conditions because you're what's called repulsive. Get out of my country. Go tell some sovereign servants somewhere else how great they are because they're not great here. You know, they really are not.
Yep, they're servants. They're a lower class, but they've elevated themselves with this con that they're running on the entire fucking country.
Oh, he linked onto that servant thing. He said that was his response. He put 3 of them in a row because he didn't, complete his response. But anyways, he says, you assume public servant means that these folks are employed to serve you. Folks, they're socialists. They're Nazis. Folks are employed to serve you, for you to command, for them to do what you tell them to do, right? Bro, let me explain. First off, don't ask me anything if you're a genius. Okay? You tell me how I'm wrong. You don't ask me anything. If you're so good, don't ask me anything. Prove that you're right. Okay? Now he's got some definitions from Britannica Dictionary. Does Britannica Dictionary determine what life is in America?
No,
of course not. So why is he citing that? Bro, these people are psychotic where they do this all the time and they'll cite something that is totally irrelevant. Okay, so he says, anyways, public servants are not servants. So no mention of these folks being your servant. Bro, they're public servants. I'm the public. And that's what I told him later, which is just so fucking obvious. I don't even know what to say about it. Or they have, or take commands from you, whatsoever. They work for the government, period. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, is what I told him. And it's consent of the governed.
Right. And who pays for the government in its entirety? We do.
Yeah,
we pay for it.
It's of the people. It's by the people. It's for the people. Your sound just went out, I think. Yeah, your sound's out. Okay, it's back. Okay, so then he says, okay, your sound went out again, I think.
Yeah, I was using the cough button.
Okay, so
imbibing.
Then he says the judge is accused of treason? ? Like, didn't he just watch me arrest him for treason? Of course I accuse him of treason. Who did he attempt to kill is his question.
Treason doesn't have anything to do with killing or murder. It has nothing to do with that. Treason can be committed in any number of ways.
When did he attempt to overthrow the government? Oh my gosh. Bro, I could list off a million things that he's done to try to overthrow the government. Hey, how about our freedom of press that I've already mentioned? He's conspired against that. That means he's trying to destroy America, literally.
Yep, okay,
but that's not what makes treason anyway. But see how these guys are it's always by some other weird definition. Bro, we have laws. It defines what treason is, and it's not this stuff that you're bringing up. Right. Send factual instances with dates, places, people involved. The judge is involved in a drug war hearing right now, and he's not throwing it out. So he's engaging in the drug war, which is a war against the American people. That's treason.
By definition, it's treason.
And that is what I told him later on. But it's just like, dude, why is it that everything you're saying is wrong? Why are you here sharing your opinion at all? If everything that you're saying.
Have an opinion that's based on reality and fact, not based on your feelings or what you learned from Fox, CNN, or MSNBC. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Exactly. Bro, you see it all the time, people using the word treason wrong. It's war on the American people. It's cut and dry, that. And if you're collaborating with people that are at war with the American people, that's treason.
Yeah, then you're a traitor. Yeah.
So then he says, this is his second nonsense comment. 1 second you are arresting the judge, and the next minute you are arranging when to come back in front of him. Comical. Did the bailiff go get the marshal? Did the judge get arrested? Listen to him listed off all the things that these sworn officers sworn to our laws violated their oath. And listen to him listing them off as if, bro, these people are so crazy. They think that the more times these traitors commit their crimes, that like it's better.
It gets better and
they
better.
They do it over
right,
and
exactly.
over again. Don't you get it? They always pull people over. It's called a traffic stop. Okay, well, that's fine, but they're all illegal. So it doesn't get better. They did it 10 million times. I agree. It doesn't change the fact it's still illegal. So he's saying, you told him he would never be a judge another day. Yeah, he's not. He'll never be a judge again. No matter, like, listen, you can all live in a fantasy world and pretend like he's a judge. But the truth is, he's been accused of treason. He's guilty of treason. It's a matter of public record. Sue me, bitch. You know, that's your recourse. If I'm calling you a traitor and you're not a traitor, then you can sue me, and then we go to court. And in that case, though, you got to prove that you're not a traitor. Because if what I'm saying is the truth, then you can't receive damages for it. It's not slander. It's the truth. So that's why I do that. I'll keep calling him a traitor. And he'll never sue me because he's going to have to prove he has never taken part in any wars against the American people, which is impossible. He can't do that. He's done it 1 million times.
Every time he prosecutes somebody for having a joint or being on the corner looking for drugs or whatever. Yeah.
For sure. Anytime he allowed a cop to seize somebody without a warrant because they smelled weed or any of that stuff, where it's just like, no matter what our laws are, this judge will violate them every single time. No matter what the socialist wants, he will do it. He's a fucking collaborator. And then that was the first judge. Both judges are that. Judge Landis, the next one, he's the same shit. They're all that. And it's possible that someone follows their oath somewhere, but it's like, especially at the county level, it's just like, holy crap. We've all seen the videos. There's millions of them.
Yeah.
Every video is a violation of rights, even though these frauditors are always talking gibberish. Reasonable articulable suspicion. And what's the crime? 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 Oh, look at me. I stood for my rights. I said, what's the crime? 40 times. And then I gave him an excuse. So what reasonable articulable suspicion? Oh, they're just going to come up with something stupid.
Oh, yeah, they're going to make something up. They're masters of fiction, these fucking cops.
Yeah. That's why it's up to a judge, not to these executive officers on the street. That's why they have to have a warrant from the judiciary.
Right.
The second judge, Judge Landis, he doesn't understand that either. So he says, in fact, nothing. Oh, was he charged at all? Was he convicted of treason? He says, was he accused of treason? Yeah, I obviously accuse him. And now he needs to face a jury.
And these people are stupid.
Yeah, these guys, they don't. Bro, it's like, why are you sharing your opinion? Now it's time for a jury. A citizen's accused this man of fucking capital treason.
There is no trial. There is no trial.
I mean, we could do a trial or not, but the truth is, if you don't do a trial, I mean, come on, it's no different than people getting executed in their car on the side of the road. Right?
Well,
you had
do
no
unto
idea
others as they've done unto you.
So, was he convicted? No, because he'll never face trial. Why is that? I have an equal protection under the law. In fact, we've always been told that these people are held to a higher standard than us. Okay, so if the death penalty applies to us, then what applies to them? Every time? Probably the death penalty, right? Because they're held to a higher standard. It's that I didn't take an oath to these fucking things, but this guy did. And now what's he doing? The opposite. The opposite. Bro, and my book is about how it's a checklist. Every right is fully subverted.
Yeah, right.
These people are always like, oh, what about this definition? What about this? It's like, dude, you're missing the fucking point. Everything they do is a sin. Everything they do is a crime against us, you moron. Like, it's not, you don't need to argue with me about this one thing or whatever, which they can't even pull it off. I'm showing you how they can't pull it off. Everything they say is like working in my favor, explaining how the justice system is a joke. That's what he's saying. Was he convicted of treason? That's what he's saying, is that the justice system is a joke because it doesn't apply to Nazi traitors. It only applies to real Americans. And this pig thinks that's acceptable. Fucking disgusting, dude. These people are repulsive.
In the extreme, I would say they're repulsive in the extreme. If we took a judge and charged him with treason and found him guilty, in a jury trial and had his ass publicly hanged, how many of these judges do you think would resign?
Exactly. Yeah, they say my name and they're going to start thinking about getting hung. Yeah. Or Nuremberg 2.0, which is exactly what... That was Nazis being hung for their participation just following orders. So whenever you hear someone say just following orders, they're admitting to be so stupid that they don't understand that was the Nuremberg defense, and it didn't work. They hung those Nazis.
They hung every single one of them without exception.
So all these people go around today like, I'm just doing my job. Bro, you're literally saying the same defense that the Nazis did after World War II, and it didn't work for them. They were all hung. So good job. You're literally making an argument that has already lost 60, 70 years ago. Remember the last time we declared war on anyone?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing.
Well, no, it's everything. Dude, if the law says Congress is going to declare war, then they're going to do something else because it's a full-scale communist plot takeover, has been from the beginning, always was, where all the communists just want to take everything that we've got, and they're not going to stop at anything less, and then literally in the end everyone starves to death when that happens, but they don't care because they'll own the ashes. They will. Yeah,
they can sit in the ashes and play with them.
Well,
that's all they're going to have. And they will eventually starve and die too because they don't have enough actual real skills.
Oh, did you ever
survive?
Did you ever see 100?
No,
Okay, so like space and everything, right? Because there was an Armageddon war, so they had this pod out in space, and all that could be sent down was 100 people, and so they sent down the teenagers because they had the most chance of life, and procreating and stuff like that.
Right.
So their whole society was about getting these 100 teenagers ready to go down. So teaching them about like botany and shit like that, right?
Right.
And so then they got a test back saying that the radiation had cleared because it was a nuclear apocalypse, kind of like what we're looking at right now with Russia and Israel and Iran and all that.
Yeah, because Ukraine. Iran has nukes and Israel has nukes. As long as they're using neutron bombs, I'm all for it. Let them wipe each other out.
People live in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, so their stories don't add up. And then when you look at the video of these weapons being used, bro, this shit's fake. It'll be like a farmhouse that's like obviously a model, and like
or dilapidated, trees. And they blow it down with with a dynamite explosion or something,
or a black cat because it's just a tiny little model, and it's just some bullshit. It's total crap, and it always has been. But so this idiot shows up. He says, in fact, nothing happened other than you showed up back in front of him. Oh, well, actually, something did happen. I used my citizen's arrest right. State law. to place a man under arrest for treason, for taking part in a war against the American people. These are facts. Those are facts. That happened. No matter what the traitors did, no matter what they did, the facts are a man placed another man under arrest for capital offense treason. And now, no matter how many collaborators that you find, like this guy, look how willing he is to show up and collaborate with some traitor, some Nazi. Literally, he's just some stranger, totally willing to just show up and start collaborating. One of the funniest dumb moments in sovereign citizen history videos. Hilarious. Judge never flinched. Bailiff never moved. Actually, the bailiff, there was no bailiff, but they got the bailiff and he came in. I gave him the criminal complaint. It was signed. It was a signed criminal complaint against the judge. So jail personnel never arrived. That's not true. The sergeant that came was a jail personnel. You continued on with your case. Well, that's your belief, actually. But the truth is, since my accuser is just the state, there is no legitimate case here, and that's never going to change. There's never going to be a victim. So
the whole point of the Constitution is to defend us against the fucking state, against exactly these kind of people that are in charge doing the shit that they're doing. It was put there to protect us from them. But we have an obligation to stand up for it and to demand it and stand on it and hold it and wave it in their faces and tell them, you're traitors. You people are not even Americans. Get the fuck out of my country after you spend 20 years in prison for what you've done, which is real justice. And listen, Kennedy, years ago, when I was just a kid, maybe 17 or 18 years old, I learned that, everything that the government says, if you turn it around backwards, then you have the truth of what they're really saying.
Yeah.
The justice system is an injustice system.
Yeah, it's
right?
just us. It's just us. It's fascism. Unequal application of the law. That's what the just us system is. It's fascism.
Right.
These guys, they love it. They think it's good when they have these random psychopaths running around doing arbitrary attacks on Americans. For some reason, Barry Shuck here thinks that's fucking great. And you know why he thinks it's great? Because that's where his paycheck comes from. I guarantee you, man, this is a socialist. He says, bro, this is the sickness on the earth. And you can see the sickness in these people in the comments they make. Okay, so here's his third weirdo comment. I did go ahead and press contempt charges on this judge too, because he is doing nothing but making a mockery out of this legal system. Send me the link to where you won this. Oh, look, he says now I got to win it. It's a fact. I have a right to freedom of press. That's an American law. The judge violated that. That's contemptible. He's making a mockery out of the court. He is.
And if, we, like you said, we've been taught that they're held to a higher standard. But we know
that's just a lie. Yeah.
That what I just said, take whatever the government says and turn it around the other way, and then you got the truth. They're held to a lesser standard than we are. Right. That's the truth.
They're gods. They think they're gods.
They get away with all this shit because people like this genius have been brainwashed into thinking that they're not servants and we actually work for them. They've been, I don't know, it's some kind of paranoid psychotic delusion or something.
Stockholm syndrome, sympathizing with the captors.
That too,
He's probably military. Military is notorious for hating America. They hate us. They just do. Oh my God. Bro, if you go through all of the threats on my channel, you're going to find out that literally 90% of them are military. They hate America. They hate our rights. They hate the Constitution. They hate human rights. That's what the Constitution is. So when they're in Iraq or wherever, are they using warrants? Or are they just shooting people that have guns? Violation of their Second Amendment. And yes, Afghanistanis have a Second Amendment. It applies to all men. When you go to their house and you try and shoot them for having a weapon, that you're just causing a never-ending war that you're going to lose. Remember, they lost in Afghanistan. Nothing happened to America. Nothing.
every invader that has ever tried Afghanistan has failed, ever in history. Yeah,
well,
they might have come in.
We lost and nothing happened to America, so that means the whole thing was pointless anyway.
Right.
Well, we know it was illegal because they didn't have a declaration of war from Congress. So if somebody tells you they're a veteran and that they honor their oath, well, those two things don't seem to align, because your oath is that Congress declares wars. But in Afghanistan, you didn't require Congress to declare war. You just went and started shooting people.
Yeah, that's a criminal adventure abroad, an illegal criminal adventure abroad. That's exactly what it is. It's, missions for corporate America, missions for these gun manufacturers and weapon manufacturers, Raytheon.
But we see even auditors will be like, thank you for your service. I mean, geez, man, these guys are frauds, big time.
Yeah, they just don't have any
after another where they're just they're making a mockery out of our actual laws with all this crap that they've made up with case precedent and stuff. It's like, dude, grow up. Case precedent. Dude, that's as ridiculous as my nonsense judge making new laws based on his stupid arbitrary decisions. I mean, what a joke. He just does whatever he wants, and now he thinks he's making a new law. I mean, what a joke. So he's saying, send me a link where you won this. If not, that means A, you never filed squat, or B, your filing was dismissed because it was frivolous. Bro, it was dismissed because they're traitors, retard. This man is at war with the American people, which is textbook treason. And you're here giving him aid and comfort, which is textbook treason also. This man is a socialist and doesn't belong in America at all, just like you. You seem to think that the fact that all socialists are at war with all Americans and collaborate against us every single chance they get lends them some sort of credibility. But it actually just makes you revolting. I'm the public. Right. These are public servants. What does your dictionary have to say about that, genius? Also, the United States government is of the people, by the people, and for the people, and it's under consent of the governed. So everything you're saying is just gibberish. And the fact is, you don't understand America. You need to leave my country. American citizens are all sovereigns. We don't have a king here, genius. You believe in sovereign servants, which is a contradiction in terms. When I say you believe, I mean that a bumper sticker told you what to believe, because Americans do not have thoughts, just like you've proven here over and over again. Run along now, peasant. And look, now he hasn't answered. I assume he gave up or something. That was only 11 hours ago, though. Maybe he'll answer. But he's not going to have shit. They never do. To support the socialists, you have to be so stupid, honestly, that you work for them. That you are one of them, where you just think going somewhere and standing around all day equals work, and it just doesn't. It's useless. We pay for it. That means it's detrimental. Okay, and then people are getting killed over it. That's detrimental. It's a war on the American people. Why the fuck would the American people want to pay for that? But people just feel like it's invisible money, like. They already took it out of my check, so that means it was never mine, and I'll never, And it's just like, no, dude, your check would be huge, 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 huge if we weren't funding all these wars and money to Israel and Ukraine and all these places that are not going to work out anyway. Like, that's the whole thing, is that this shit, it doesn't work because these people are not producing. And that's why they don't have money already. They're not great at, logistics and management
they're not even good at anything. They're not even proficient managers.
They're literally, their fathers didn't train them in any trade. And that's why they all became socialists. And that's why when I was going to be a lawyer, that I looked at the landscape and I was like, no, I can't do this. That's crime. And I got out of it.
Yep.
Because I already had other skills, other trades by then to fall back on. if I needed
Right.
or whatever.
Well,
And I had to make the choice eventually anyway to be poor because I went into sociology, and that's just more bullshit. Bro,
more,
they're just
more socialism. The problem is, Kennedy, is that people don't. They've been sold this bill of goods that socialism is about taking from people that make money and giving it to everybody so they can survive. That's not what socialism is. That's Marxism. It's a completely different thing than the modern socialism. These neo-socialists, they are just they're communism light. They take
all
from
of it.
everybody
All of
that's
it boils
productive.
down to left or right. Left means more government funding. Right means less. And so
Yep.
that's why Marxism, neo-fascism, neocon, all this stuff is just to confuse you. But what it is that they're all leftists. So the Republicans, the Democrats, those are all leftists. And then there's maybe the libertarians. They might be conservative. But, they don't win anything, and they're never going to win anything. It's between the two leftist parties. So they
Right.
just
They
split
have
up
all the money.
the two left things, which is like, border security and drug war. On the right, no, that doesn't make sense.
Listen, this is Gordon Lightfoot said it best, or not Gordon Lightfoot, but Loudon Wainwright III in his song "Last Man on Earth." He says, "I don't give a damn which idiot runs this country. They're all just game show hosts and wrestlers, big time wrestlers to me."
Well, yeah,
And that's exactly what it is. He nails it.
It's more than that. They're a salesman, and they're here selling you the next socialist package.
Right.
Each one of them is over and over again. Yeah, they're bouncing around and lights are flashing, but he's not getting it. The whole thing is about pushing the next leftist package. And so if that's to make a TSA, then that's what it's going to be. And next generation, it will be a different set of new leftist, more government bullshit, to the point where when you do a vote, okay, we're already at like 30 million of these socialists in our country.
Oh yeah, at least.
And because the American people are so lost that they can't identify a socialist, they don't understand that it's us versus them. And so the people are just kind of arbitrarily trying to decide which one to go with, not understanding that there's this whole block of voters, the leftist, the socialist. They're always going to vote the same way, which is how they're told. They'll tell the socialists how to vote, like at the police union and stuff. They'll send out a letter how to vote and stuff.
So listen, Hunter Thompson has this to say, and I think it's relevant. In a closed society where everybody's guilty, the only crime is getting caught. In a world of thieves, the only final sin is stupidity. And that's pretty profound considering what, applied to what we're talking about. Everybody has been sold this bill of goods by these used car sales. They're not even car salesmen. They're used car salesmen, and we've bought it because they made it sound good. Oh, we're going to hold. These people are held to a much higher standard than anyone else.
God's standard, where you don't even touch them.
Right. Which is the different standard. The higher standard that they're held to is no standard at all.
Yeah.
They get to do whatever they want.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Okay. Here's another good one. We cannot expect people to have respect for law and order until we teach respect to those who we have entrusted to enforce those laws. And
honestly, all these people are useless, to be perfectly honest with you. Nobody identified the socialist.
Right.
No one identified this leftist scheme where every single vote is a vote for more socialism. Nobody understands it. Nobody wants to understand it. And half of it is because all of our idols, like these guys you're quoting, it's like, dude, what the fuck are they talking about? Gibberish. It's socialism. It's public funds. It's treason to be at war with your own people. See, this is the thing. These fucking people that everybody's worshiping, they all like speaking code. It's like a TV show where you're not going to watch if they just spill the beans. And so you keep watching, but then you get to the end of it and it's nothing. Like Lost, fucking 7 seasons. And by the end of it, it's nothing. It's just wind blowing through trees and like hallucinations and just, just nothing. It's gibberish. And that's the thing, is that Americans will go for that gibberish and they'll support it. I've seen so many Jordan Maxwell videos about the law and about his little theories on like fucking the Holy See and the fucking your currency and the birth of your ship and stuff. Bro, people share that stuff forever. Does anyone share anything that we talk about? Oh, fuck no.
No, they don't.
They're too fucking dumped down. They're too scared. Everything has to be coded so that no one can argue with your dumb shit. And that's what Jordan Maxwell is, and that's what all... Bro, there's been so many idols throughout the years, and all of them are worth a fuck. JFK, this and that. He didn't expose socialism. He didn't expose that these fucking people are at war with us every chance they get. Oh, in the 1920s, they were at war with us because of gold. And then they were at war with us so that we would put our kids in their schools. Yeah, the great idea. Everyone's retarded now. Great idea. Right. That worked well. And then, guys, are we going to change directions on this? Oh, fuck no. Oh, fuck no. Now that everyone's dumb as shit and people think it's acceptable to line up 10,000 people to go watch men in tights fucking grab ass. Like, bro, when that's acceptable, that's the end of your society. That's when, you know, the average person will show up. They'll talk total gibberish on my channel. I'll completely wreck them. Bro, do they show up and apologize for being so fucking incompetent? For some reason, dude, everyone's incompetence is the more intelligent person's problem. It's just so stupid. Like, these people are not supposed to really have opinions. That's why we're in a republic. So that there's some people that we think have their head on their shoulders. Not the drunk fucking jibber-jabbering on the park bench. Okay? When you sit and listen to those guys, it never works. You know, because they're not legitimate. They're just, fuck, man, who knows what the hell they've been doing with their lives, but it's just fucked up, you know? It's not like they've been working and going to college and things like that. Like, certain people do things that can make them better and make them actually be able to produce like an argument or a point. Not so with Americans these days. Bro, it's sad. It's disgraceful.
It really is.
And then
it really is.
Bro, how do you get so cocky when you're this fucking dumb that all you can basically do is slobber? Like, oh, you're fat and stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, why do you think your opinion means anything if that's all you got? And yet the dumber they are, the more fucked up they are, the more they think it means. It's like, not that it helps, man. I have people coming and telling me that they're cops and then admitting to committing crimes against me, like sharing my private information, like my address or whatever's on my DMV record or whatever. It's like, dude, your whole fucking gig is the law, and here you are. Dude, come on, doing the opposite. Do it flat out the opposite. Man, it would be something if these assholes were like doing everything right except for one thing. But no, everything they do is a violation. Everything. That's why every time I see them, I find grounds to press charges on them or arrest them. Every time, pretty much. I mean, 90%, something like that. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, the world has gone insane. Clearly.
Yeah. Oh, it is bad. We're going, to me, it looks like what's going on in Russia right now is probably like Revelation type shit. And Trump too. Trump too.
Well, here's my take on this whole World War III thing. This is just another play by these globalist actors. Trump is one. Vlad is one. Brzezinski or whatever, Zelensky, he's one of them. All the world leaders they're all socialists and they're all in on it. This threat of nuclear war is to stop everybody, all the people, all the real human beings from insisting on having their freedom. That's the problem is we just won't get in line with them all the way. That's what they want. They want us to just line up and be slaughtered. That's what they want. And they do that by creating fear in the world, man. There's a worse thing to fear.
I think Revelation points to this idea that there's going to be like all the armies of the world collected in Armageddon.
Yeah.
And then which is a valley in Israel, I think.
Yeah, it's called Megiddo.
And then I don't know about like the nukes and stuff. I don't believe in nukes. It's so fraudulent. These people are complete goddamn liars. Everything they've
they're
done
absolute
and
liars.
said, all their choices that they've made, it's just been about communism. That's all it ever was. Everything, dude, from the moon landing to everything. Every fucking thing that these people have come up with is about communism. Everything. Vietnam and whatever. It's all about increasing government size and money and budgets, and to the point where the people are totally enslaved and have no control over any of it. Bro, how stupid is it that people are so, think about it. We're paying Israel. Most people don't like Israel, especially now after what they did on like October 8th or whatever.
Well, I mean, listen, Gaza City has been turned into a pile of rubble. There's like 60% of the structures are completely destroyed, and the other 40% are at least damaged. Okay, there's no more hospitals, there's no more schools, there's no more factories, there's no more anything. It's a fucking wasteland ready for an army of bulldozers to come in and clean it up, so that the Israelites can move down into there and expand their settlements. They call it a nice word, settlements, which come at the expense of many hundreds, maybe hundreds of thousands of dead bodies. We just don't know. We're never going to know the truth. Anybody that goes in there that's press gets arrested and thrown out, or they get killed. So we're never going to know the truth about what's going on there. And to me, it sounds an awful lot like the socialist expansion and that happened with Nazi Germany. That it just seems a whole lot like that. I mean, of course nobody likes them at the moment because they're doing all that shit, and everybody's mad at Russia because they're fucking with Ukraine and yada yada yada.
No, people aren't mad at Russia. Russia is only defending itself, and I think a lot of people know that because what it is that Gorbachev made an agreement with like Reagan or something that he won't move an inch towards Moscow if they took down the Berlin Wall and unified Germany.
Yeah, and then we've taken and taken and taken from
like
them with the UN.
3 entire countries have joined UN.
NATO. Yeah, NATO is a clear violation of the agreement that we made with Russia at the end of the war. It wasn't just something that was said. It was part of the agreement. It was a contract that was written and signed by people that were, quote unquote, in charge.
Right. And I think that most of Europe would know that or something. America doesn't know shit. We're over here in our own world. If the church tells you to support Israel, then that's how you decide. And most of these churches around here, they tell them to support Israel. They tell them to support the police. They tell them to all sorts of satanic shit. Right from the first thing they do, they'll go in and pray in the church. And it says in the Bible not to do that specifically. In Matthew, it says don't even go into the synagogue.
You're supposed to do it alone by yourself in a closet.
Yep. And then swearing is the same thing. They're talking about swearing oaths in the Bible. And they've changed that to where now swearing oaths, like being a cop or military, is totally okay. And now it's if you say fuck. Now that's swearing. That's what they've changed it into. And they've done that with everything. Like the Christmas tree is specifically banned in the Bible. So if the church is pressing Christmas trees, that priest read the fucking Bible. He's a Satanist. So Here's how you make a satanic Bible is you just, where it says thou shalt not kill, you just change that to thou shalt kill. You change it all into the reverse. Yep. That's how you make
the truth, and then you get what these world leaders are on about. Then you get it.
Yeah, that's their whole plan.
I think the problem with Americans and people in general, right? Like maybe just Americans, because I talk to a lot of different people from different countries all over the world with the social experiment that I was talking about. Americans in general seem to, have this mindset that just because they're in power, they can do whatever they want, and that none of this really matters. And it just,
we're not in power. We have
No.
no control over not just the government at large, like the military and shit like that, but we have no control over what the cops are doing.
Nope.
We have no, like, for instance, dude, the voters in this state legalized mushrooms in like 2019 or something. And yet here they are prosecuting. So, bro, we have literally zero control bro, it's like a crime that people are always trying to act like that's a free person, but it's not actually, because they have no protection under the law. Okay. Their crime boss can just fucking shoot them and bury them in a hole somewhere, and no one's going to care, and no one's going to ask questions. And that's the thing about like murderers, like, oh, he's a big bad murderer. No, because the other murderers are like, you do this, you do that, you don't talk to the cops. They saw you talking to the cops, maybe they'll shoot you now. Just for talking to the cops, maybe you said everything right to the cops and didn't give up the murder plot or whatever, but now they're worried that you are a snitch or something, and now they'll kill you. So it's like crime and stuff, you get the opposite of what they're always like, oh, it's a bad boy, a motorcycle or something like that.
right. But here's another good one. Listen to this. Check this out. In a nation run by swine, all pigs are upward mobile, and the rest of us are fucked until we can put our acts together. Not necessarily to win, but mainly to keep from losing completely. I feel that's like where we're at right now, man. Like maybe we've been there for the last 70 years. You know, like we're just trying to stop from losing because these people just, no matter what they do, everybody,
at any time, they can come and take your whole life.
Yeah, exactly. So. It's like, compared to our government, Ted Bundy is a hero because he only killed 35 women or something. He didn't kill 35 million or 100 million or however many people are, how many human lives were extinguished by this illegal socialist coup that took over the United States after World War II or even before World War II. You know, like all those citizens abroad who were killed and all the soldiers on the other side that were killed, they all tally up on a bill for our government. And for them to make this big thing about how horrible Ted Bundy was, he was just an awful fucking person. There's no comparison. We're talking millions and maybe less than 100. Both are wrong. Ted Bundy was wrong and the government's wrong, but they make this big deal about making these criminals seem like they are Satan incarnate. They do the best they can because of their crimes. And if we start looking at their crimes, then we might actually wake the fuck up to this fiction.
Every day, everything that happens on the TV is there to convince you that the socialist is necessary.
Yes.
And that's why they're always coming out with new things. That's why school shootings started in 1999. It's because now they needed to convince people that there's a reason to have
gun control.
Yeah, gun control and like people checking up on your internet, or whatever. People checking to see if you're on Facebook maybe, or making threats or policing your speech or policing your beliefs. And every single move that they make is about that. So the TV, it's all about that. So like an Amber Alert where it's making your phone go off and everything. This is all an effort to brainwash you into thinking that the socialist is actually necessary. Because the truth is the exact opposite. He's not necessary at all. Not at all. And in fact, he's detrimental in every single way, including siphoning off so much more money than any of us really understand, that we have no idea what earning an honest day's wage would be. Your audio.
Right. And, I know. Whenever I do that, it's because I'm coughing.
It's crackling and stuff. Well,
I'm trying to be kind, because I can get kind of loud with the coughing. And since I got the button, I might as well use it. I think what
it's so bad that it's 100%. And people are like, you're trying to say that this definition is this or that. And it's just like, dude, talk about missing the forest for the fucking trees. My Christ, You want to argue about definitions when they've got a roving army, 1 million people strong, running around telling people where to stand, what to talk about, what property to have, dude, are you goddamn kidding me? You know?
Right. What nails you got to use to put your deck together, what kind of concrete you have to use to make your footers for your house, how many bricks there has to, how many cinder blocks there has to be in your foundation, how much hurricane strap, on and on and on and on. Some of that stuff is practical, but most of it is just a kick in the balls, like a permit to build or make an addition on your home. That's just theft. It's theft. You should make your plans, take them down, submit them. That's it. Pay $5 maybe, but
well, why do they want your plans anyway? It's not to help you.
No, they're right. Why do they need them? Why do they have to have them?
It's really a Fifth Amendment issue.
Yeah. Well, the plans that I submitted were always real professional because I had some drafting, obviously.
Well, yeah, but what are they using them for?
Right. They're probably using them, I can guarantee you that every address has every plans, everything that's been done to it in a file somewhere, and the pigs and the judges and the prosecutors and all the other socialists have access to that.
Right.
So they can figure out how to fuck with people that say no to them.
How to break into your house or...
Right. They're like bad dogs. You shake your finger at them when they piss on the floor and you say no, and then you make them go outside, and then the dog comes back in and shits behind the couch to get back at you. That's exactly what they are. They're just like that dog that gets mad because bad, go outside and do it. They just can't help but act like little children that have to have all the toys in the sandbox or else we're not happy.
Bro, I would be fine with that, but what about these other people that show up and think that they ought to defend that crap?
Yeah,
Talk about fucking disgusting. I mean, just like literally, what is your life? It's pointless. When
you're not wrong.
Can't defend your beliefs, when you cannot, you're wrong because this law says you have to do this and make an actual fucking point.
Yeah.
Then it's a sickness. It's a total
It
disease.
really is.
And these people are like, there's millions of us, and we'll all believe whatever the bumper sticker tells us. That means we're right. No, you have to prove to me. Oh, dude, you know what really pisses them off? I'll tell them that they agree with everything I said. And,
when in fact they have. They just are too dumb to realize that they did.
Yeah, I'll tell them you either have an argument, or else that means that you do agree with everything that I said. Oh, dude, they don't like it. All they know, they'll be like, oh, what about this guy? He says you're mentally ill. Yeah, so he's mentally ill.
Yeah, right. Well, it's all mental illness, Kennedy. Every single bit of it.
When you can't make a point and then you point to someone else's comment accusing me of mental illness, it's that mental illness is so deep that you literally will point to other retards and be like, see, this other retard said this too, and that means something. Dude, what's funny is that's what psychiatry is.
Yeah, sure.
It's just this total scam where it's just people that want to slander other people. I mean, you see it all the time online. You see people doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever actually met a crazy person, though? I haven't. I've met people that were on drugs. I've met people that were stupid. But as far as actually crazy, no. Nope.
Yep.
I'm pretty old. I've been all over this country. What you've met is probably someone on medication from these psychiatrists.
Yeah, and it makes them act like fucking complete weirdo zombie fucks.
There's people on drugs. Tons of them. Dude.
Yeah, they're crazy, man.
Women love these antidepressants and stuff. They eat them up like candy. Dude, that's part of the reason why women are so fucked up that they can't even tell, Well, it looks like you're...
There you're back.
I can hear the train. Whenever the train passes a couple blocks that way, I lose Wi-Fi. Weird, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that doesn't make any sense because your internet comes in your house on a wire, right?
Yeah?
Okay. So why should it fuck with your
I don't know.
your wireless in your house? That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Well, maybe because they don't have enough employees anymore. The trains and the tracks and everything is hypermagnetically charged, and when that train goes by, it turns up the frequency of that magnetic field. I mean, look, everything is falling apart in this country, and the rail system is no exception. Our roads are falling apart. Our buildings are falling apart. Everything's falling apart. Our water supply is falling apart. Electric current delivery is, it's all based on technology from like the 1950s and shit. Like what's going on?
Look, man, they just tell you that shit because they want more government. It's always the same. They always want more government dollars. No matter what they say, it's always the same fucking thing. Always.
Yeah.
It's all they do. When they're talking about Ukraine, all they're doing is making an excuse to send them more money. When they're talking about Israel, all they're doing is making more excuses to send them more money. It's literally the only thing that these people talk about, and yet the American people don't know that that's what's going on. And the truth is, you know what the problem with the roads is that we're paying these contractor companies all this,
to do nothing.
Millions and millions. Sometimes they'll do the same road. For some reason, they like redoing the same one or something. And so they'll actually it'll be like 4 times. They'll fix the same road. And there'll be other roads in town that suck. Why? Because then
because there's no money in it.
They can keep complaining about the roads to the city, and then the city will make more socialist contracts. It's the best sale you can get because these people didn't earn the money. So they don't care if they get a return. They're never even going to know or understand if they got a return.
No, they're too stupid and lazy.
They're not legitimate Americans. They do accounting and figure out value, and
they barely even qualify as human beings, Kennedy. I mean, in the strictest sense of a human being that knows how to take care of itself and knows how to take care of its family. Look, when God gave us this planet as the human species, he did not intend for us to have to pay for everything to these fucking criminals in charge. He gave us everything we need to live. He gave us the earth. He gave us the grains and the fruits and the vegetables and the animals and the knowledge of how to use those things to survive and make abodes for ourselves. But now these people have come in and they've stolen what God created for us, and they're trying to sell it back to us as if we don't have a God-given right to it. That's the essence of the Constitution, and that's the truth about the creation of planet Earth. And the Lord of this earth, the Most High, Almighty God, gave it to the human race, gave it to us as a gift, which means he gave it to us free. He didn't give it to the socialists so they can steal it all from us.
I don't know, man. I think that God gave it to Satan, and that Satan is the god of this world.
That there's certainly an argument for that.
There was always going to be all this slavery, and it was always going to be easier to exploit someone else than it is to get off your ass and actually frame up your own house and dig the trenches and pour the foundation. And
yep, exactly.
It was always going to be easier to scheme and to lie, and it was just, that's the whole thing here, is that what are you going to be, and what are you going to be? Are you going to be a drag on society, or are you going to contribute by making something or providing something useful to your fellow beings? I make this really kick-ass strawberry custard, so I sell that to the public, and I have a farm where I grow the strawberries, and I employ people to pick the strawberries and take care of them until they're ready to pick, right? That's contributing. At the end of it,
at the end of all these jobs and all this creation, you have strawberry custard that you sell at the corner store. You know, and that's what capitalism is. And what we have right now is, like you say, man, a bunch of retarded, useless people pressing buttons and standing in one spot all day, standing around picking their nose.
Taking your money. Yep. Everywhere you
taking
go,
money.
someone sitting behind a desk taking your money. And it just starts to get like, what the fuck are these people doing for this money I keep giving out?
Right, exactly. Like where is the added value? These yuppies, you know, yuppies still exist. They like to say added value. Well, where's the added value in this, you know, woman of a certain age who doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground, taking $200 for me to get body cam or to get public information, and then telling me I have to leave when I question it?
Right.
How did this happen? How did we get here? When did things get turned so fucking upside down that our government thinks they could just tell us whatever the fuck to do? And these idiots
to me, yeah, it's these idiots that are way worse though, because it's just like, dude, they are evil, okay? But now what the fuck are you that you're going to show up and actually defend that? Like,
well, they're they're pandering to who they perceive to be the authorities. You know, there's two kinds of reactions to authority. The first is pandering. The other one is non-compliance. Those are natural reactions. And they know this about the human creature, right? There's only really two possibilities. Apathy is still being an ass kisser, you know, being a panderer, you know, but, and then if it's, there's only two choices when you're confronted with authority, especially when they don't have any authority. And these people don't have any authority over us. Their only job is to guide the process of protecting our constitutional rights from them. And that's how they've taken over this country. They got into those positions. They're judges, prosecutors, mayors, governors, the president, congressmen, senators. They're all in on it. Either they're in on it or they're apathetic because they're getting taken care of, which means they're still in on it. You know? My God.
Listen, they all realized a long time ago that if you work for the socialist, then you don't have to be out there digging any holes.
Right. You don't have to do anything. You just sit back and watch the money roll in.
Yeah. You'll just sit there and play on your phone and you'll get paid for it.
Your biggest problem is where you're going to go on your next 2-month vacation
right.
while you're supposed to be doing your job.
Yep.
And you just run off to the Bahamas and blow $150,000.
Yeah. A vacation for a job that's not even actual work. Yep. And that's who gets the vacations. Dude,
right, of course.
You don't ever find like construction workers going on vacation. You never find that.
Listen, when I was a kid, and the first, it was the energy crisis, and then they called it recession, or whatever. I can't remember what they called it, but they blamed it all on politicians.
OPEC,
my dad was in. Yeah, it was the quote unquote fuel crisis, which wasn't any crisis at all. It was just, the crybabies in Washington threw a fit, so they cut off the Arabs, and the Arabs were like, all right, well, fuck you. We'll cut production. But okay, so my dad worked for the phone company. That's added value. He's providing a constant and reliable source of person-to-person communication from point A to point B all around the world.
It's a private company, so it doesn't really matter to us.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Value or not?
I'm saying that Bell was contributing to society.
Yeah.
Period. He was contributing by keeping the phone lines open. That was his actual job.
Real jobs don't exist unless they're contributing.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Only the socialist design.
It's not a real
jobs.
job. Yeah, it's not a real job unless there's a tangible result that you can either see, feel, or taste. Right? It has to be one of those things. Yeah, it has to be one of those things, man. And communication
it's about getting paid. That's the value. It's that someone finds value and they pay you cash.
That's right.
So whether it's a service job or anything.
Yeah, right. but the American worker has been devalued. But here was my point. My dad was entitled to 3 weeks of vacation every year, but because of all the oil embargo and all the shenanigans between the infant socialists who run the world, he had to sell 2 weeks of his vacation, and we only got 1 week of vacation a year. But he was off work. He would sleep until he caught up to a regular schedule, like the next day, and then we'd go on vacation. And we'd go do fun shit, all added value shit. We went canoeing, fishing, camping. We went to the races at Mid-Ohio. We went hiking. All of that is, it's using societal assets that are provided by capitalists. None of it's socialism, except for maybe the parks. But we're entitled to using that. And there is upkeep and shit.
You're entitled to go there and pay them money and get yelled at and told what to do, and then probably arrested.
No, if you're being too loud or whatever,
if you've got a cooler, they're going to want to check through your cooler. If you've got dude, these people are scum. No matter what the fuck you're up to, they think that they just come around and search your shit, and that everything is an excuse for them to attack you. Everything. And tell you what to do. They love telling you what to do. A man that can't earn his own way in this life loves to tell you what to do. They love it.
Yep, that's correct. Let's go ahead and wrap it up, because I got to go, bro. It was good talking to you, but I got to get out of here. I got to take care of some business.
Sounds good.
Let's plan on a live Thursday. That sound good?
That's like Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, that's right. Shit. Okay, let's do it Friday then.
Okay.
Let's do it Friday. That sounds good. All right, man. Listen, Kennedy, I'm glad that we had this time together, and I'm sorry I haven't been in touch, but I've just been kind of in my head and doing that weird social experiment, which has yielded some interesting results.
It's pretty cool, man. My experience throughout life is like I've been in different jails across the country and stuff. And bro, people they're waiting for court and they want to ask people questions. No one knows anything. They're just they just kind of judge it off past experiences. Like, oh, you're going to go to jail today, or you're going to get out today, or it's not based on laws. No one's arguing about laws. No one's talking about what their actual rights are. Dude, and these traffic stops, oh my God, they're all pathetic. Even James Freeman, our best guy, what does he do when he gets pulled over? Nonsense. Just nonsense. And they all do it.
Yep.
They all do it. And then they wonder why it doesn't work out. What a joke.
Yeah, they wonder. The same result from the same intention. Yeah, that's the problem.
It's not like you can guarantee that you're going to win by saying the right stuff, but it's like, how can you guarantee that you're not going to win? Well, probably by doing dumb shit that doesn't have anything to do with their laws at all.
Yeah, it's like, saying I'm going to show up at the race and then you just never do, and whoever you were going to race wins because you weren't there.
Yeah,
don't even try.
Yep.
Don't even try. Yeah, don't even make an effort. Don't even make an attempt to be a real American, no matter what you do. All right, man. Listen, I will be in touch with you before Friday. Okay. All right, man. You take it easy. Thanks for coming. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Sounds good. You too.
All right. Night.